So now we are continuing on. This is the second verse, and this again begins Tva Prasad Kabit. Kabit is the name of the meter here. So Kabit is a type of meter, and you're going to see kind of the flow of it here. It says Kattahu Suchet Hoy Kachetina Kochar Kiyo Kattahu Achinta Hoy Sovata Achetahu. This whole is saying to you. This is addressing directly in the second person plural of Paramatma and saying, you know, somewhere Kattahu. So now we're going to have this long exposition, this long explanation of divinity across all types of multiplicity. So you're going to see divinity in both form and non-form, and both in perceived opposites of good and bad, right? So now this relates to this idea that we have that comes across in Akāl Ustati about Advat. Oops, spelling that wrong. Advat, right? Again, this is the negation, which means not, and then this means to, so not to, right? Meaning that across all types of multiplicity, there's just that one, right? Like we started off, Ek Onkar, this relates to that. So now we say, okay, so somewhere, and this is going to be a constant throughout this verse, somewhere, Suchet hoy ke chetana ko char kiyo, somewhere you are suchet, aware, you know, with consciousness, beautifully. Char here can mean beautiful. Kattahu achint hoy ke sovata achet ho. In other places you are sleeping, sovata achet, unconsciously, right, without any worry, right? So again, this is going to be, we're going to be going through all these different types of opposites here. So kattahu pakhari hoy ke mangta fir tapik. So somewhere you are a pakhari, a beggar. Hoy ke mangta fir tapik. Basically you are going around begging for food. Other places, kahu mahadan hoy ke mangyo tan de ho. Other places you are this mahadan, you're this great giver, this charitable person, mangyo tan de ho. And when people are begging, you are, you know, giving them the wealth. Kahu maharajan ko dijata ananta dana. Other places you are maharajan ko. So to great kings, dijata ananta dana. You're giving countless anant, you know, unlimited blessings. Kahu maharajan te china chita ho. Other places you are maharajan te chin, taking away chin, right? Stealing. Chita. This means the world or land, right? Or other places you are taking away the emperors or great kings' lands. Kahun bedrit, kahun tasyo biprit, kahun trirgonatit, kahun sorgon samet ho. So some places you are in accordance to Vedas, bedrit, the traditions of them. Kahun tasyo biprit. Other places you are doing the exact opposite. In some places, now this is a tre guna. These are the three gunas from Sankhya tradition, basically. Guna here means, or you can spell it with the other nana, like this, can mean quality. And the three type of qualities of material matter, you have Rajo, Rajas, Sato, and then you have Tamo, right? So you have these three types of material matter. Rajo being kind of energetic, that which expands outwardly, prospers. Sato, you have kind of a purity to it, a lightness to it, a clarity. And then Tamo is going to be inert or kind of heavy, dragging type of quality, which only confuses, conflates. So that's just related to one school of thought in Indic philosophy that is kind of categorizing the world in different gunas or different qualities. So some places you are atit, you are beyond all type of quality. Remember, now this is going back to this idea about nirgun, right? So some places you are nirgun, and then some places you are sargun, right? You are the divine with qualities. Now this is going to come up, this line is going to repeat as we go through this verse. So some places you are the celestial beings. Jach, Gandharva, Orga here means Shesh, Nag, or snakes. Vidyatar means people who have adorned or who have good qualities. Essentially, people who oops, let me just erase this here. People who are very skilled, right? So here they don't even translate it, but it means people who are very skilled, who have vidya, who have science. Other places you are the exact opposite, so you are pret, so you are ghosts. Pasach are like meat eaters, they can be demons, they're a type of judge as well, like a lower orderly version of that. These are all just celestial beings, right? So you're all these different types of people and beings as well. So on the earth you have Hindua Gayatri ko Gupta Japio. Some places you are Hindus who are reciting Japio in a very secret manner, Gupta, this Gayatri mantra. It's a type of mantra or mantra. Turka Pukare Bang Ded Ho. Bang is basically the Muslim call to prayer. So other places you are Turka. So Turk here is a term used when talking about Muslims in some of these texts. So you're screaming out Pukare, you're letting out the call to prayer as a Muslim. So somewhere you're Hindu, somewhere you're Muslim. Some places Kahon Ko Kakab Hoike Quran ko Partmat. Katahu Quran ko Nadan Jan Let Ho. So this is Kahon Ko Kakab. Kab means kavya, means poetry. Kok here means Kok Shastra is something I mentioned by Guru Gobind Singh a lot because it comes up when you are reading about the Anandapur Darbar. So you have different poets in Guru Gobind Singh's court, and they have written various translations of certain types of texts. So the Kok is basically a type of Kam Shastra. Like we have Kama Sutra. The Kok is kind of the medieval version of that, and the author's name is Kok actually. So that's why they call it Kok Shastra. It's his type of version, retelling of older Kam Shastra texts like Kama Sutra. So some places, you are reciting this, the Purans part, so you are reading the Purans or the Kavyas, poetic tales like Kalidasa's texts, etc. And other places you're reading Kok Shastra, so love manuals. Katohum Quran ko nadan jan let ho. Other places you are basically reading the Quran, which is read, when somebody's life is coming to an end. That's how I read this line. Jan let ho. When you're taking somebody's life, at the end, you are the Quran there. Kahon bedrit, kahon tasyon beprit. So again, this is that line that we covered. So some places you are Vedic ritual, some places you are performing that, and other places you are doing the exact opposite. Kahon tirgonatid. So some places you are without form, right? In other places, sorgon samet, you are samet means with, right? So you are with all these different types of attributes. Here says, Kaho Devtan ke Divan mein Bharajman. So Devtan means basically they put a long A here. I'm going to draw this out so you guys can see it. But basically, in Braj and these languages, when you have, for example, you have Devtan. It's basically the same as this, Devtan, right? You're just extending this. So it goes Devtan, and you can make the end to, oops, I apologize for my writing here. You can make that into Devtan. So we're going to see how actually this in the Svaya that comes up after this, how this gets used a lot by Guru Gobind Singh. This kind of extending a word. So from Devtan, the plural, the end makes it into a plural, Devtas. So essentially this means gods, basically the demigods, the devtas. So in the Divan, right, in the court of the devtas, you are Brajman, you are glorious, you are seated there. Kaho Dhanvan, again this is Dhanav, so this is the demons. Kaho Dhanvan ko Guman mat det ho. In other places you are giving det Guman mat. Guman mat is like arrogance. Guman means kind of arrogance or deceiving. You're giving this type of egotistical mindset to the demons, right? So again, this is suggesting, this kind of paints the picture of Paramatma being that kind of puppet master. He's like making the demons act out in a certain way, and in other places he is actually residing within the court of the devtas, who are then going to be expelled by the demons, right? So in many of the Puranic stories, many of them are retold by Guru Gobind Singh in Dasam Granth, but in many of them you actually have the demons kind of expelling the devtas from the court of the heavens. And who runs that court of the heavens? Indra. He's the god there. Kahun Indra Raja ko mil Indra padvisi. So sometimes you kind of bestow the position of the Padavi, the position of Indra to Raja Indra. Kahun Indra Padavi Shapai Chin Leta ho. Other times you take that Padavi away, right? So actually in the stories of Devi, in the stories of Chandi, you actually have Indra getting thrown out basically from his court. And then Devi has to come in, Chandi has to come in and kind of take care of the whole mess. Katahu bachar ko bachardaho. Bachardaho means bacharda. So, or in the plural, vicharde. So sometimes you are contemplating what is bachar and what is abachar. So what is good conduct and what is bad conduct. What is discerning in a good sense, in a positive sense, and what is to be kind of forsaken, right? And then at other places, kahu nijnar par nar ke niketaho. Other times, nijnar dinal. Other times you are with your own kuri, own woman. Other times, par nar ke niketaho. Other times you are with somebody else's woman in your house, niket, or somebody, you're in the house of another woman. Nar ke niket. Niket is Sanskrit for house. Nar again means woman. Kahum bedrit. So again, these are perceived opposites, right? So some place you're like completely in this absorbed contemplation of what's good and bad, and other places you're, you know, either with your wife or you're in the house of another person's wife. Again, this is that line that we covered. So some places you are, you know, working in accordance with Vedic ritual. Other times you're doing the exact opposite. Some places you are with form, you're nirgun. Other places you are sargun. So again, these don't necessarily mean one should be according to Vedic reet, practice. That is actually going to come up later on in this text. But these are just perceived opposites to show that right at the end we're going to get to a line that's going to say that Guru Gobind Singh can say across all of these opposites, right, and everything in between, essentially, I viewed Paramatma, Rab, to be pervading with all of that. Kahun shastrtari, kahun vidya ke bichari, kahun marat ahari, kahun nar ke niket ho. So kahun shastrtari, at some places you are a weapon wielder or somebody that adorns weapons, who is strapped with weapons. Kahun vidya ke bichari. Other times you are contemplating on vidya, science, any type of knowledge, right? Kahun marat ahari, kahun nar ke niket ho. Other times you are a hunter, you know, you're killing what you eat. Kahun nar ke niket ho. Other times you are basically with a woman in their house. Kahun deva bani, kahun sarda pavani, kahun mangala marrani, kahun syam, kahun set ho. So kahun deva bani. Deva bani means the language of the devtas, meaning Sanskrit. So somewhere you are Sanskrit, somewhere you are Sarda, meaning Saraswati. These are different goddesses, Sarda, Pavani, Parvati. Kahun Mangala. Mangala can mean Chandi as well, Durga. Marrani here means Shiva. Kahun Syam, other places you are dark, like Krishan. Kahun Setho, like Hans Avatar. These are different types of avatars or beings. Kahun Taramtami, kahun Sarabhator Gami, kahun Jati, kahun Kami, kahun Det, kahun Letho. So other places you are essentially the abode of Dharam, so righteousness. Kahun Sarab, all Tor places, Gami. Other places you are the one who pervades everywhere or goes everywhere. Kahun Jati, somewhere you are celibate. Kahun Kami, somewhere you are the exact opposite, somebody who's really absorbed in desire, right? So the exact opposite of a renunciate or a celibate. So celibate or somebody really enjoying sex. Kahun Dieta, somewhere you give, right? Somewhere you're bestowing people with things. Other places you are taking away from people. Kahun Letho. And then you get this line again, kahun bedrit, kahun tansyon biprit, kahun tirgun atit, kahun sorgun simet ho. Right? So some places you are in accordance with Vedic ritual, or you are the performance of that, and other places you are the exact opposite. Kahun tirgun atit, you are beyond all the three gunas. Other places you are merged with guna. Here we have some references to ascetics. Here it says, kahun jatatari, kahun kanthitare brahmachari, kahun jog sadi, kahun satana karta ho. So some places you are somebody that has dreads, right? So this is some ascetics, some yogis would dread their hairs. Kahun kanthitare brahmachari. This is a type of ascetic as well. They would wear a type of, kanthi is a type of necklace they would wear. Brahmachari means celibate, right? Other places you are a yogi performing yog sadhan. Kahun yoga sadhi. So yog sadhi, kahun sadhana karta ho. Other places you are performing other types of sadhanas, right? Other type of religious practices. Kahun kaan phare koi dandi hoye padare koi phuk phuk pavan ko pirthi paitarta ho. So other places you are kaan phare yogis are basically, or kanphata yogi is a type of yogi that these are essentially nath yogis generally, where they, in their ear, they rip right down the middle of it. So this is not like the very, I guess, easy way to get earrings is to, make a hole in the lobe. They're actually like ripping the middle of the ear. Very, very painful. This is a sign that they are ready to go down the path of austerities, of ascetic practice, where they're performing very difficult tasks. And this actually was a term that I've learned was actually a derogatory term for them. They actually wouldn't like to use this term for themselves, but other people outside of yoga communities would use this term. Kahun kaan phare koi dandi hoye padare. Other places you would have their type of sadhu as well. They keep these dandas, type of sticks with them. Kahun phuk phuk pavan ko priti paitarta ho. This is in reference to Jain ascetics who would phuk, who would blow on the ground. And he would only place pavan, ko priti paitarta ho, their feet on the ground after they have blown on the ground. Why? Because they believe so much in ahimsa, non-violence, that they did not want to, by accident even, step on any type of insect, right? So somewhere you're a yogi, somewhere you're a Jain, somewhere you're a Sipahi, a warrior. Katahu Sipahi hoy ke saadat salahan ko, kahun Shatri hoy ke ar marata marata ho. Some places you are Shatri, a warrior who's killing and dying. In other places you are somebody who is performing martial practices or training, right? Other places, kahun puma par ko utarat ko maharaj, kahun pava putin ki pavna parata ho. So other places you are essentially the very form of a maharaja, a great king. And on top of that, you are taking away the weight of sin. This is a reference that when sin is committed, or oppression or injustice is committed on the earth, there's a great par that is, there's a great weight that is placed on the earth. And that divinity has to come either through the form of a king or of an avatar, has to come down and basically alleviate this pain on the earth, right? So some places you are like a great king who is uttara, taking away the great injustice of the world. In other places you are basically fulfilling the wishes of all the people there. Kahun geet naad ke nadan ko batavat ho, kahun nitrkari chitrkari ke nadan ho. So other places you are singing songs, and you are the very treasury nadan of chitrkari, of painting, and nitrkari, dancing. You are performing all these artistic expressions. You yourself are the artistic expressions as well, right? Kattahu payuk hoy ke pivata pavavat ho. So some places you are essentially drinking amrit. You are that amrit as well. Kattahu mayuk uk kahu madapan ho. In other places you are doing the exact opposite or perceived opposite you are drinking alcohol, you know, kahun madpan ho, mayuk uk. So this is also talking about gannelas. So other places you're drinking sugarcane, all types of different enjoyment, right? You have celestial enjoyment through the amrit, the ambrosial nectar that brings immortality, just temporal, right? Through sugarcane, just, you know, a nice sweet drink. And other places you're drinking alcohol, perhaps grammatically conceived as kind of a demonic drink, right? Kahun mahasur hoye ke marat mavasan ko, kahun Mahadev Devatan ke saman ho. So some places you are basically breaking the fortification, of great warriors, Mavasan, you know, these rebels essentially. You'll become this Mahasur, this great warrior to do that. And other places, you are like the Mahadev of the Devtas, right? You are like the greatest Devta of all Devtas. Kahun mahadin, kahun drab ke adin, kahun bidya mein praveen, kahun pum, kahun pan ho. So some places you are so, let's say mahadin is greatly subordinated or oppressed. Here it's using deen as humble. Kahun drab ke adin, and other places you are kind of under the wraps of money, essentially. So here we can actually, or you have actually no money, right? You're also full of ego. Kahum bidya mein praveen, kahum pum, kahum pan. Other places you are the very earth itself. In other places you are the very sun. Pan here means sun itself as well. So if ever you got confused, you wanted to look a word up, again, you would look, this is Mahan Kosh. Very easy way to do this. To just copy and paste. Mahadin, they're actually, you know, defining as Hazrat Muhammad, and I don't think that makes sense in this context, but Guru Gobind Singh, you can see, has used that as a word for Muhammad in, so when it says Vichittar here, it means Vichittar Natak, right? Mahadin Tab Prab Uparaja, and this actually is that, it's a very interesting actually chapter in Vichittar Natak where they go through all the different devtas, and then even temporal, you know, saints, sadhus, people of this world who have come up and started their own path. And then Guru Gobind Singh actually, in a sense, criticizes all of them that they started their own path without, forgetting the divinity and forgetting devotional practice, right? So darb here means money, right? So you are kind of under the control of money, essentially. And other places you are so skillfully involved in vidya, science, knowledge. Other places, again, the earth and the sun. Kahun Akalang, so actually this is important because it says the earth and then the sun, and then it says Kahun Akalang, kahun Mart Miyank, kahun Puran Priyank, kahun Sudata Kisar ho. So here it means Kalank to Bina, and that's actually, it's just because it's going to talk about the moon here, so that's in reference to that. So somewhere you're just without any blemish, right? You're just the most pure of all pure beings. Kahun Mart Mayank. So here it says, this is in reference, this is a kind of an Indic reference to the moon here. Kahun Puran Priyank, somewhere you are the full kind of seat of, you're the full comfort, right? Somewhere you're enjoying bliss. Kahun Sodata Kisar ho, you are the essence of all purity, right? Kahun Devataram, kahun Sadhana ke haram, kahun Kutas ko karam, kahun Taram ke prakar ho. So some places you are Dev Taram, some places you are the righteousness of the Devtas. Kahun Sadhana ke haram. Other places you are essentially performing the sadhana of kind of vicious people. Kahun kutas ko karam. Other places you are doing kutas ko karam. Actually, let me just double check that if I've understood that correctly. Haram here, mananu harlan, chiraun wala mandar. Interesting. So now if we want to double check and say, well, I wonder what Rantir Singh says for that in his text, you just scroll down and you say, okay, here we go. So it's going to say kahun devataram kahun sadhana ke harams. He has 42 and 43, and you would look that up. 42. Jeevan diyan lodan diyan puriyan karan de vasiliyan da. Manohar mehal karam. Okay. So you are kind of the all the treasures in the palace, essentially. I'm gonna actually get my screen back. And then, yeah, so other places you are doing such vile karam, kukaram, and other places you are performing righteous action, right? Taram ke prakar ho. Kahun paun hari, so some places you are eating a hari paun. That's actually how Janam Sakhis talk about Guru Nanak as well. They describe him as paun hari, somebody who is can sustain himself by just eating the air, essentially, meaning he's not bound by the necessity to eat food. It's a accomplishment that ascetics talk about. Kahun vidya ke bichari, other places you are in contemplation of vidya, science or knowledge. Kahun yogi, some places you are yogi, some places you are celibate, some places jati can mean celibate as well as brahmachari. Other places you are just a man, and other places you are just a woman. Kahun, that's what nar and naram here mean. Kahun shatartari, kahun shalatari, shal pari, kahun shakavari, kahun shalaki prakar ho. So some places you are shatartari, right? So you are one who has chatar, means basically a how are they going to talk about that? They're going to use parasol, I believe is the word in English. It's like a big umbrella, essentially. And if you have that big umbrella over your head, you are the sovereign, right? Shala tari, shala pari. So this is in reference to a deer skin. So somewhere you are a king, and other places you are like this ascetic who's sitting on deer skin, looking so beautiful. Shala pari. Kahun shakavari, kahun shalake prakar ho. Other places you are just prone to be deceived, and other places you are the very deceit itself. Kahun geet ke gavaya, kahun bayan ke bajaya, kahun nrit ke nishaya, kahun nar ko akar ho. Some places you are singing the song geet ke gavaya, and other places you are the player of the band, flute, bayan ke bajaya. Other places nrit ke nishaya, you are the dancer of dance. Kahun nar ko akar ho. In other places you have the akar, you have the form of a man. Kahun Ved Bani, again, so this is going to be Sanskrit. The Bani, the words of the Vedas. Kahun Kok ki kahani, you're the story of the Kok. So, the stories in the love tales, right? In the love manuals. Kahun Raja, some places you are king. Kahun Rani, some places you are queen. Kahun Nar ke prakar ho. Other places you are various types of women. Kahun Bain ke bajaya, again, so you're the player of the flute. Kahun Tain ke chareya, you are the herder of the cows. Kahun Lakhana lavaya. This is in reference actually to Krishna when he's a young boy. He gets tied up to a tree, and that's why it says Kahun Sundara Kumaro. Other places you are a young beautiful man. Sodata ki isan ho ke santan ke pran ho ke data mahadan ho ke nardo ki nirankar ho. That ke here is going to be like perhaps you are the pride of all purity. Perhaps you are the life breath of all the saints. Perhaps you are, the great giver, bestower of great wealth. Other places you are, sinless, pure and blemishless, just immaculate. Other places you are, invisible, nirajor and narup ho, without any form. Ke sundara surup ho. Perhaps you are the form of beauty. Ke pinnacle ho. Or perhaps you are the king of all kings. Ke data mahadan ho. Other places you are the data. You are the great bestower of great dan, right? Charity. Pran ke bachaya dud poot ke davaya. Other places perhaps you are the giver of life, the giver of milk to little kids. Rog so ke mitaya, the remover of all rog and sog, all pain and illness. Kedo, or perhaps mani mahaman ho. Perhaps you are, the highest honor, right? Mahaman, man can mean honor, right? Vidya bichar ho ke advay avatar ho ke siddhata ki surat ho ke sudhata ki san ho. So vidya ke ke vichar ho. Other places, perhaps you are, the knowledge of, or the contemplation of knowledge. Other places, you are the avatar, the incarnation of non-duality. Interesting. Other places, you are the surat, right? You are the very form of purity, sudata. Other places, you are the glory or man or pride of purity. Joban ke jal ho, you are the kind of net of youth. Right? Ke kal ho, you are the death of death. Ke sataran ke sul ho, you are the kind of the spear, the weapon of anguish against the enemies. Ke mitran ke pran ho, you are the kind of life of friends, right? Kahum brahmabad, kahum vidya ko bakhad. Other places you are speaking in relation to Brahm, kind of speaking about wisdom. Other places you're doing the exact opposite. Vidya ko bakhad, you're criticizing science, or you're criticizing knowledge. Nad ko nanad, you are the sound of all sound. Ko puran bhakt ho. Other places you are, such a devotee, right? Just in the full extent. And then you get this line, kahom Vedarit. Other places you are, Vedic instruction, the tradition of the Vedas. Kahom Vidya ki pratit, you are kind of imbued fully with learning, knowledge, understanding. Pratit, right? You have full faith in it. Kahom Neet, Anit. Some places you are politics, or here it says ethical. You're political, you're the exact opposite. You are Neet, you have no ethical understanding. You're unethical, you have no sense of political action. Kahun jwala si jagat ho. Other places you are kind of the fire, right? That is burning, right? You're the glow of all fire. Puran pratap ko ho ekati ko jap. Puran pratap ko ho ekati ko jap. Kahun tab ko jo ke digat ho. Some places you are Puran pratap, right? So perfectly glorious. Ekati ko japa, so you're basically in seclusion, in solitude, reciting either mantras or any type of meditation. Tap ko atap, you are essentially removing, you are the remover of tap, right? You are without tap or anguish, and you remove that from people. Kahun jog te digat ho. Other places you appear kind of fallen, digat, as a yogi who has kind of fallen. Now this is the crux of the whole passage that we're reading, right? So I went through a whole list of opposites. Someplace you're this, a warrior. Someplace you're a yogi. Someplace you're a man. Someplace you're a woman. Someplace you're this. Someplace you're that, right? Kahun barded. Some places you give blessings. Some places in deception you take it away, right? People being deceived, and then the divine kind of takes it away. Yet now after this is the core line here. It says Sarabakal in all time, Sarabator in all places, ek se lagd ho, that you appear to me as one, right? Across all time and space, across all of these differences, specific differences, right? Men, women, king, beggar, somebody being deceived, somebody being blessed, at all times, in all spaces, no matter what the circumstance, no matter what the practice, no matter who the person or where, right? At what time. Across all of that, divinity is seen by Guru Gobind Singh, right? And then it's instructive for us as well, the reader and listener, to say this is the Sikh perspective, that one should view divinity within all. And that is kind of the essence of this idea about Ik Onkar, right? So now we're going to move on to the next verse.